Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Max Payne 3 on old school difficulty, which has unfortunately come to my just my realization, even though I suspected it early on, that it's not hard, it's not challenging, and I'm facing like a 22-minute video that I'm sitting in front of right now, and it's actually the worst feeling to, not that I'm ashamed whatsoever about the content, because I've stitched a lot of great scenes together here for everybody. It's just the fact that narrating something that's easy is, it's just it's hard to get enlivened and get passionate about something that's just so fucking easy, and that's why I've had to infuse this artificial difficulty of not using the medicine, because it's just, I don't know. So there is one silver lining to everything, and the irony actually might be, well, maybe Bit can't beat it, and the only thing about that I'll say is that the final boss, I've spent about 45 minutes because I said to myself, I might cancel this project. That's what I was saying to myself. If I just go to the final boss with the checkpoint, I selected the level, I selected the certain checkpoint. It's checkpoint 10, if you're curious. And I said to myself, if I do this in 1 or 2 tries, then the guide's just done, because if the final boss on this difficulty without using the healing items can be done that simply, then I just don't want to have this project in. But it kicked my ass for 45 minutes and I stopped not having beat it. So it's one of those things. There's the cop right there for the first clue. The guy that you saw at the nightclub if you've played this game, but which I've edited out. And I'll have some interesting edits up here in the strip club. It's all going to be the shoot dodges, no downtime. I just wanted to experiment with that. But if you've played this game, at the airport section on the last chapter is actually very challenging, and the only thing I'll say about this is just watch out for the guy with the shotgun, because on this difficulty you get damaged the most by enemies that are close to you. So if they're at close proximity to you, you'll see that you're taking more damage. And the thing about the airport section at the end is that enemies are close to you, you have pretty poor cover. The second clue is actually, I might not have put that in, I'm sorry. Let me tell you what it is then. After the shootout, you go back to where you were sitting at the very beginning of the chapter on that couch and pick up the photograph. I don't think I put it in here, but I'm telling you where it is. So pick up that. That's one of the clues. And then also the guy that was hiding under the bed, he's I think it's called Patron or something. He's the patron. That's one of the other clues. I feel bad actually now that I didn't go back and get that photograph, but it's just a photograph on the ground of I forgot the guy's name, man. But on this difficulty, like I said, enemies that are in close proximity to you are going to deal the most damage. It doesn't really matter what gun they have. Not too much anyway. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes if they have a shotgun, I've seen my damage indicator go down more, but it's also the fact that there are many enemies at close proximity shooting at you at the same time. So not only are you getting damaged more than you usually do, but you're getting damage just stacked on damage. And the cover is not really great, but it's still fairly decent, and it's the one thing that I'm actually looking forward to. So there's a guy up there, guy down here, and then you'll see to the left coming up like forward, and then to the left is another guy coming out right there, and that's the last guy over in this location, and then you're gonna have some more guys over here. So and like I was saying, the irony might just be that what if everything is extremely simple except that boss fight, and it turns out to be some kind of a Vanquish deal, but there's just no way, because I've played it and you only have to survive for about 2 minutes. And one thing that I kind of object to is that there's a certain point where a couple of caravans come up with enemies, and I've tried really hard to shoot the car before it gets to you, but I don't think they let you shoot it until it comes to a stop, which I really disagree with. Because if you get the upper hand, I mean, excuse me, getting the upper hand on that would be obtainable, I think, by shooting the car that drives up to you. But having to wait for it and then stop, you know, and then of course it takes time for the smoke animation to appear, and then for it to blow up. Even though if you hold the bullet time down, it'll work out so that the enemies will struggle to get out of the car and take longer, and it might blow up. But that might not work just because of the continuity of everything in the grand scheme of how the time works in this game. I mean, there's all manner of things that you could do to make this harder. I don't think hardcore would be possible, because one hit and you get damaged even more than I have the blood. You see the blood marker right now? It's even more damage than that. I think it's 3/4. So I don't think the final boss would be possible on hardcore without using any items, of course. So we'll have to see. A couple of rushers over here. Be very careful. And it's hard to tolerate this game crashing. If you don't know, every session that I have, the game crashes. I can't leave it for like 2 minutes without coming back, and it's just turned into a black screen. And it's really horrible. So there's the next clue right there, the gang tag on the wall.
Christmas card list I wouldn't be on. This wasn't Commando Sombra real estate. I had to keep moving.
We're gonna head on in here. There was one clue I think in this chapter, one of the gang signs. At the end, it didn't give me the prompt to examine it. It's happened twice now with different things. Oh yeah, we're coming up on a pretty hard section. It's very easy to die here if you don't kill the guys. This guy and this guy right over here. Just like I said, due to the proximity of where they're at, if they're hitting you. And I just don't understand this game. I don't remember. I haven't played this game in a long time, but it's just like, why is the SMG so much powerful than the assault rifle? It's like one, or sometimes it's just two faint hits with this weapon that I'm using right now. So you are going to get a checkpoint in a second, and I just anticipated that I would have more struggles, and like the moment I do struggle is the moment I start getting resentful, and I just hate that character trait about myself, because I'm playing these games to get challenged. So, you know, like, stop bickering about getting challenged when you do get challenged. That's something that I'm trying to learn to get better about, because without the challenge factor, there's no reason to play these games. The experience is not enough for me, which is, it's pretty bad, but the experience is actually the difficulty is what I thrive on in these non-linear games. Okay, so the door opening right there. You kill 3 enemies, and then it opens. It doesn't matter if you're looking at the door. It's just gonna open, and there's gonna be 2 guys. Only 2 of them up here. So you do get a weapon with a scope, which I'm using right now, and it's pretty damn powerful. And the thing about the final boss as well is that I know that my game's gonna crash. Like, I'll try to be doing it for 30 minutes or so, leave my room, which I do frequently because I want to do stuff, come back and the game's crashed. So, you know, I'll probably get there with every possible great weapon, and then it'll crash and I'll have to go back to the checkpoint. And they actually do start you with a pretty decent assault rifle. So, a ton of enemies over here. And then once you've cleared everybody up here, you want to fly down if you want to. It's much more risky. but it's a hell of a lot of fun. So there's usually a couple guys down here. And we receive some fall damage for that. Okay, so getting to the checkpoint is actually quite difficult just because the enemies have the upper hand here because they're at a higher level than you are. And of course they have immaculate aim and we don't because we're human beings. There he is, there's one guy. There's a couple guys here you're gonna have to pass by. And the thing is, you can't just have them come down to you. You're going to have to go up there. Preferably duck with the crouch button, like I'm trying to do here. Do your shoulder swapping, and one hit and I'm out of the game. Oh yeah, anytime you hear whistling noises in this game, it's because there's still enemies left and they're signaling to one another. So it's something to bear in mind. And I'm prone on the ground right here waiting for this guy to pop his head out. I'm trying to fire so he'll stick his head out. And he's just not doing it. And the thing is, I know that if I press up on the analog, he's going to get to his feet so slowly that I'll be so vulnerable here. So I'm trying to pepper a few rounds over to him, see if he'll stick his face out for me to shoot it, and he's just not taking the bait. And dying here sets you back pretty far. And he's not the last guy, so make sure you do your shoulder swapping over here because there's going to be, I think, 2 guys over here. So make sure, put your body to the left of the reticle. See how bad I was at the aiming right there? It was because I was a nervous wreck. I got a rusher too. And do you see how I'm firing so many rounds here just to be stylish? I don't know if that wastes your ammunition because a lot of the times I seem to like when I stop and get back into the game world, it doesn't seem to have wasted that much. But I'm sure it does. I don't see why it wouldn't. Okay, so that's a cleared area. Grab the medicine just because I'm trying to be thorough about stuff. And we're gonna get out of here. Oh, look at that. That happens all the time in that section. Okay, this part here, if you fire anything, if you fire your weapon, these guys will come out. And they might be able to be avoided. That's just that guy? Okay. There's 3 gang tags on this chapter. There's an upper, a middle, and a lower. Or excuse me, yeah, lower, middle, and upper. Okay, so he got some fall damage right there, hopefully. Piece of shit. You can memorize the locations of every enemy in this game. I really like that. And I'm trying to think to myself, like why is this game not hard? I think that's the reason right there. Just two measly bullets kill these guys. Like chest shots. In Gears of War, it takes quite a lot of bullets to kill the enemies. And Gears of War is why I bought a 360 originally. But I think it's absolutely shameful that the single-player campaign is not 60 frames per second. It's a drastic note. You notice that kind of stuff. It's just, you know if it's in 60. Okay, so there's that guy. When you step down here, you're going to get a checkpoint. And the memorial for Claudio, the guy at the nightclub in Chapter 2 who was killed, is the next clue. So examine this shrine here. And there's going to be some more enemies. Always look for the gasoline tanks or the propane tanks, because they're very frequently placed in this world. There we go, got a couple of guys. And then you're going to have one guy holding up right in here. One or two guys. Sometimes the guy that I shot right there before this one, he rushes out. And then you're going to have another checkpoint coming up here, which is pretty tough. But you see all the stuff that I have, like every good weapon that I have over here? You're going to notice a drastic change coming up. From all of these great weapons, here's the next clue. All of these great weapons to a single pistol, because you guessed it, the game crashed. It's completely unstable. And somebody with less patience than I would definitely not tolerate it. See, why does he have so much resistance to the bullets when everybody else doesn't? Okay, you would do well to remember how these guys operate over here. One guy busts out of the door, and then there's one guy over here. It's kind of a dirty trick, but once they kill you once, you always know they're there. So once you go through the door, glue yourself to cover, because there's going to be two guys upstairs. There. And I think we're coming up on a fairly challenging area. It's pretty notoriously difficult. But, you know, goodbye to these great weapons. Because if you're curious as to why that is, it's simply the fact, here it is. It's the fact that I'm not playing, see, when I wanted to start this game, start a fresh game, I thought that I didn't know if it was going to overwrite any data, so I was really concerned about it. And I thought that if I started a new game in the chapter select, like there was a continue mode where it would just save your progress, and it doesn't. So this has definitely been harder, just due to the fact that I can never preserve any weapons, because this, you see this weapon that I have, it's all I have, because that's all they start you with on these sections. They normally just give you one, I mean they always give you one gun. Sometimes, just due to how it works, how they feel, you know, what they feel you need, you'll either have an SMG, this, or an assault rifle. And it just depends on like what area of it is. If it's a standard section, all you're going to get is this. But this is harder than most sections, and all they give you is this is not really acceptable. So there's another gasoline tank right there if you want to take note of that one. Kind of a hard one to hit, and what I was trying to do actually is to see if that guy would follow me out the door, but he didn't. Okay, so that guy's all finished up. And I don't think there are any clues in here.
One vice at a time.
But this is just a great place. I love this chapter. Okay, there's a little surprise right there. Oh, that guy right there. No aiming is involved with that first kill. Just left trigger plus right trigger will instantly kill that guy in the head. I do remember that. So if you're If you're curious, like how I killed that guy so instantaneously, it's because it's pretty much an assisted kill. Okay, so in this room, there's some drugs to examine. And it was such an excessive monologue that I had to edit that a little bit. And okay, I think this is the area where it's the upper gang sign, but I approached it and it gave me no context button to interact with it. But that is one of the clues. That's why I'm pointing at it for you guys. And once again, I'm sorry that I didn't examine the photograph in the strip club, but I've told you like 3 times about it now, so I don't feel so bad about it now. I feel bad because I don't want anybody to miss anything if they're depending on this guide for anything about the clues. When I did my guide last time, I recommended that you don't kill these guys, and you don't have to. You can just run if you want to. But I wanted to see if it was possible to survive this, and it's highly possible. Okay, so there's a cleared room for that part, but no checkpoint quite yet. And we're just about done with this level as well. Okay, so when you come up here, 1 or 2 guys left, and then you are going to get a checkpoint, and you'll see, like every one of these edits, you'll see that I lose all of my guns. Like, look what I have here. Like, look, see what I have, the AK-47? Look at the edit right over here. See? Pistol. We're back to the pistol, because I probably went outside or did something, and I came back, game crashed. Back to the pistol. But at least that gives you some indication of how you can do these sections, and you don't have to have the best weapons. These weapons here, they allow you the luxury of being less accurate than you have to be with a handgun. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that if you get caught in a reload, it's a really good opportunity to use the bullet time, because you're completely vulnerable and you don't need to be. So I think we're just about done. That's the last kill. We're going to walk up to, I think, what he calls the palace, and I will see you in the next chapter. Take care of yourselves.